All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. You found us here at KGB Customs, home of what we believe is some of the best custom gun content on the web. We share these custom guns in hopes of sharing some knowledge and to catalog some of the great pieces that come through our shop. Thank you for joining us. If you guys aren't already, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. If you really appreciate the things we share here, jump down to the link in the description and join our email list. It's not a list that's going to spam you with nonsense. You'll get a couple emails a week as new stuff comes into the shop. Thanks for tuning in. Today we've got a really special revolver here, a single action revolver, revolver that I really quite love. I wish, I could keep all of these, but that's just not the case when you're in the business. But this one is an old model Ruger built by Hamilton Bowen. This gun was built by Bowen in 2008. Got a Bowen catalog there. The base gun is a 1972 old model Ruger Super Blackhawk. So it would have been a 44 Magnum. Likely would have had a 7.5-inch barrel. Would have had the Dragoon style grip frame. Not what we see here today. Original gun would have been full blued, of course, and had wood grips. This gun has a 5.5-inch barrel and color case hardened frame and hammer, along with a hot blued finish on the rest of it. Also gone is the Dragoon style grip frame. You'll see we come out 5.5 inches there. We've got a flush ejector rod housing, which is a really cool look. I've always loved. Bowen calls them the Target ejector rod housing. They were used on Maximums and I think Hunter models maybe. Anyway, Ruger made a longer ejector rod housing. I think it was originally designed for the Maximum 357 Max revolvers that had the longer cylinder, so that you could get that whole case cleaned out of them. But it offers you that flush look, but gives you a longer barrel than the 4 5/8 or 4 3/4. So you can see we'd get full case extraction there, no problem, on a 45 Colt. So this gun, we go over the features of it. Of course, Hamilton Bowen is well known for his revolver work. We've got the paperwork for this one here, so we'll go down that list. This gun is out of a very nice collection. A lot of Bowens in this collection, and one I'm really honored to have here to show you guys. And we'll go through some of the other Bowens. Some of them have already gone out the door. That were just simple action jobs, what Bowen called his standard package. Action job, check throats, check forcing cone, that kind of thing. This one's a little more detailed, so I wanted to do a full-length video on this one. So this gun started out as a 44 Magnum. The original cylinder, which is a long cylinder in the 44 Mag, Super Blackhawks, the old models, of course, had rebated case rims. So the case rims were recessed into the cylinder, like an old Smith & Wesson pinned and recessed gun. And that gave the longer visual cylinder, of course. But this cylinder is also longer than it needs to be for a 45 Colt, which makes it a great base for a guy who wants to shoot heavy bullets. One, it's a super strong gun, being a Super Blackhawk, originally in 44 Magnum, so it'll take the pressure. But the added benefit of rechambering a 44 to 45 Colt is you get, tight, perfect chambers, because Bowen reamed them, not Ruger. The throats are proper and even all the way around the cylinder. And this cylinder, we'll just go ahead and measure it here. This cylinder, I believe, should come out to about 1,750 if memory serves on these. Yeah, 1,748. Sammy case overall length on a 45 Colt is 1.6. So that's an extra 150 thousandths of length, overall length, that you get to play with in this cylinder, versus Some guys who would rechamber. We saw some Model 27s and 28s rechambered to 45 Colt through the years, and of course those have much shorter cylinders than this gun. Anyway, it's a big plus to the hand loader who wants to play with seating depth and play with heavier bullets and that kind of thing. So Bowen starts by rechambering that cylinder. You'll notice that the barrel still has the Sturm Ruger Co. Inc. Southport, Connecticut, USA marking on it. That's because these barrels were rebored. So he would send them off and have them rebored and re-rifled versus putting on a new barrel. Part of that, I think, was kind of paying homage, right? So we had a barrel that has the maker's mark on it. It's a classy look. I know, maintaining that roll mark is a visual thing for a lot of guys, but also there was nothing wrong with the barrel steel. It just had the wrong size hole in it after we rechambered the cylinder. So those were rebored. I don't recall who he was using at the time. I know that the number of guys reboring and re-rifling barrels is dwindled in the recent years. But nonetheless, this gun had that done. And you'll see, well, you won't see, but I'll read it to you. So the simple caliber conversion, as Bowen calls it, the RS-05. We'll crack open the catalog and I'll read you here what that entails. Simple caliber conversion. Factory cylinders are rechambered and barrels re-rifled. In some cases, modified factory barrels may be utilized. While this procedure is applicable to nearly any revolver, it is especially suited in old model 357 medium frame guns. Typical caliber choices are 3840, 4440, 44 Special, 45 Paradox, and 45 Schofield. Some old model 357s will have 44 caliber height front sight and may regulate properly, while most do not and will require the optional pin-in front sight blade option. So there he's largely talking about converting old model 357s. But of course, this conversion was also quite popular for him for guys that, followed Linebaugh's writings and Taffin's writings on pushing the 45 Colt. This would have been an excellent gun to do it in. Sure, it's not a 5-shot conversion, but the average guy is going to run out of wrist long before this gun runs out of strength, even as a 6-shot in a factory diameter cylinder. If you look at those throats, those are pretty beefy sidewalls still in that cylinder. This is not a dainty cylinder dimensionally or strength-wise. You'll notice on the front here, Bowen has added his custom front sight. That's soldered in place. We've got a target rear sight there. Bowen's locking base pin, oversized base pin there. What else? He's got the target ejector rod housing. So that is this steel part. A lot of Rugers had an aluminum part there. I don't think this gun would have originally. Super, I think, had all steel parts. Color case hardening of receiver, gate, hammer, etc. That was done by Turnbulls. Bowen subbed that out to Turnbulls. Bowen remarks the frame. So it says 45 Colt caliber Blackhawk, and then he remarks the Ruger logo there. On the back of the cylinder is the shielded B and the last 3 digits of the serial number. We'll pop in a picture of that here for you guys to see. This gun has also had a black powder chamfer done to the cylinder. Bowen does one of the best black powder chamfers in the business. Also, getting back here to the grip frame, the Dragoon style grip frame, not everybody's favorite. Some guys get along with them, many guys don't. So the grip frame was replaced with an XR red steel grip frame. So not an aluminum grip frame. It certainly makes the gun balance nicely, having the heft of that steel in the back. And like I said, this gun's kind of the framework for this gun. The idea for this conversion in particular is to have a 45 Colt with perfect dimensions and one that you can push longer, heavier bullets through. So a little extra weight doesn't go amiss. This one also has the grip frame decked. I'll pop the grips off. You probably won't see it in the video, but I'll talk about decking the grip frame. So Rugers are largely cast. Their receivers are cast. Many of their internals are cast. Their grip frames are cast, and then finished machine. Well, being a cast part, these surfaces that the grips lay down on are often not perfect. There's some variation in them. Ruger didn't machine them flat, but Bowen offers that service when he's building you a gun. He would come in here with an end mill and swipe, 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 flip it over, swipe, 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 and just take a skim coat off all that so that the grips lay dead flat on there and there's no gaps around those grips, assuming the grips are made flat. This is a very nice set of Eagle Sandbar Stag grips. And looking at the back strap, they fit up to that frame just beautiful. Yeah, I mean that's mostly it about the work on the gun. Of course, Hamilton announced his retirement last year in 2020. Well, maybe it was this year. I don't know. The years get away from me. Hamilton recently announced his retirement. I think it was early this year, late last year. And that makes these guns of his a real treasure and one guys certainly seem to chase. And it's not hard to see why. I have a couple of Hamilton's revolvers myself, and I should really get them out and do a video for you guys. But this one is really lovely, and there'll be still shots of this on our website if you guys want to check it out. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks.